AM 590, KXSP Omaha's ESPN Radio. It's time for the Metro's only racing talk show. The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Buddy Ray.
Hey, this is Johanna Long, driver of the number 74 Travel Motor Coach Chevrolet for ML Motorsports, and you're listening to The Front Stretch.
Well, good morning, race fans, and welcome to The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. What's going on at my little favorite asphalt road course track down in Council Bluffs?
Oh, not a whole lot. We're staying pretty busy with a lot of company outings. August is looking pretty good. You know, look, folks, if you want to do a bachelor party, a corporate outing, you want to bring a group of friends over, just give me a shout out at Buddy J, Buddy, letter J, at joeskarting.com, and we can get you set up. Karting with a K.
joeskarting.com, all your great pricing and information, hours of operation, all sorts of fun stuff always going on down at Joe's Karting. We'll have to let, I don't know if you saw on Facebook earlier this week, but Joe Gibbs Racing went out and did a little bit of company outing at a karting track in North Carolina. I figured I'll give Denny, Kyle, and Matt a call and see if they want to come over to Joe's and do a little company outing.
Well, hey, August.
Yeah.
What I was thinking, August 12th, you know, Tony Stewart's got that open tryouts for pit crews there in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Why don't we just, you know, bring them on out, let them hang out at Joe's Karting?
I wonder if, you know, since we're booking our trips to go down to Kansas for the October 5th race, and by the way, thank you to Kansas Speedway. They've jumped on board and have supported the show again this year. That starts today, so awesome to Kansas Speedway.
I love talking to those guys on the show.
I wonder if we don't send a bunch of these guys some free tickets. I doubt they would come, because that's a long ways to come up, but send them some free races and just see what happens.
See what happens.
Well, let's take a bunch of them down to the pits with us and just start handing them out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Why not?
How awesome would it be if all of a sudden
Clint Boyer walks to the door?
Clint! Of course, he's got like a six-pack in his hand. Who cares? Let him in.
That'd be a six-pack of Monster Energy drink.
No. 5-hour energy.
Or 5-hour energy drink. My bad. Oh, it'd be Bush. It'd be Bush with the Monster.
Yeah, it'd be Kyle Busch. All right, big show lined up for you today. Turn one, we are going to recap the results from Pocono Raceway.
What a race.
Wow. Holy Hannah. In turn number two, we're going to talk to Breanna Pfanstiel, former young gun, just like, about a month and a half ago. She's got a charity that she works with. She wanted to come on the show. I said, what the heck? We promoted you in Young Guns. Let's take care of you.
She turned into a real pistol.
During the show. Exactly. And in turn number three, the big announcement. It's been delayed. We've been talking about it. We've been teasing it. The big announcement will finally happen.
I'm right there with the listeners because you've done a great job not even telling me about this.
We've wanted to keep it secret for a very special reason.
So you don't tell Bud.
Right.
Okay.
That's the best way to keep it a secret is to not tell the bullhorn across the microphone from me.
The bullhorn.
You go from chrome horn on Friday and Saturday to bullhorn on Sundays.
Nice.
So we'll make the big announcement. Stan Cisar and Wayne Q are going to join us in studio. No pounding the table this time, Wayne, to make that big announcement. And then in turn number four, we got a big turn four lined up for you, so we'll have to get through these first three pretty quickly. Jim Roadkill Howe is going to join us from Mid America Motorplex. A lot going on today down at the Plex, so we'll talk to him about what's going on. Plus, we will preview Watkins Glen, and maybe we will hint towards our next prize pack, but it's probably going to end up being another week. The thing is, I hate being secretive about this because I think it's a done deal. I just need to get an okay from them because the worst thing I could do is say, hey, we got this and this, and then all of a sudden we don't.
Yeah.
But what we do have is gift certificates to O'Reilly's. That is a surefire done already. Once we start the next 5-week contest, we'll be able to start handing those out. So those will be coming up. We'll probably make that final announcement next weekend, which will give us plenty of time to do the 5-week announcement before we give them away for the event that's coming up. So that may be a little bit of a hint for you, but I think this is going to be one of our biggest prize packs. Trust me, it's huge. You don't even know about Part B of the prize pack yet.
See, you're keeping. What else are you keeping from me?
Oh, I got things a cooking. Is this something
I'm gonna like?
Oh yeah. You would want it. Well, continuing to hint, you would want them but not need them, if that helps, Yanni. So we'll continue on. Listen next weekend. We'll make the big announcement. Hopefully,
now you got me curious.
I know. By the way, his head turned like a Doberman pincher's like, I think your ears even perked up outside of the headphone cans. All right, results from Pocono, from Long Pond, Pennsylvania, for the GoBowling.com 400 at Pocono Raceway. Man alive, Junior Nation has just been on fire this week. Dale Jr. gets his third win of the season, leads 14 laps, but leads the most important one, the final one at the end, gets himself 47 points towards the championship. Kevin Harvick comes home second, Joey Logano third, Clint Boyer, Greg Biffle round out the top 10. Jeff Gordon, who led the most laps and had a frankly dominant car.
Oh, he was killing them.
Came home in sixth, Jamie Mack in seventh, Ryan Newman in eighth, Denny Hamlin ninth, and Casey Kane came home in 10th place.
Let's talk about that Earnhardt car.
Well, let me talk about. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about Dale.
With Dale, is he real championship material right now?
I am. You asked me that. Everyone always asks me at the beginning of the season because obviously he's the fan favorite.
I'm not so much at the beginning of the season, but right now we're getting ready to go into the chase. He's got 3 wins on the year. He was really strong. But how much of his success was due to the multi-car pileup?
Honestly, I don't think any of it was. Really, the guys that were back there, they had cars, but he looks good this year. Him and Steve Letarte have that car turned around. Man alive, what a job Steve Letarte has done over the last several years to turn Dale around as a driver.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's always that theory that, with Steve leaving at the end of the year, maybe they're pushing a little bit harder to get that win. I don't know how much harder you can push as a cup driver to get wins and to get a championship, but maybe they need that extra gusto. But they look good. I think this is his best year of any year he's had an opportunity to win a championship.
What do you think it's going to be like when Ives formally takes over? They were there's reports that Ives is coming on board to sit on the pit box to kind of learn how, the terminology and how Letarte and Earnhardt work.
Yeah.
And Ives already has a relationship with Earnhardt.
Yep.
Do you think that could be an advantage going into the chase?
Well, the big question is, Steve Letarte has been the cheerleader for Dale Jr. Dale, when Steve took over as crew chief, Dale had a real confidence issue. And Steve has done a great job of building up his confidence and turning it around. So when there is a speed bump, when there is an issue on the track, a loose lug nut, a flat tire, they tap the wall, they miss the setup, Steve's in the radio saying, don't worry about it, man. You are the best driver out there. You're going to get this fixed. We're going to get it fixed for you in the pits, and you're going to start passing cars on the speedway. And that's huge. You know that as a driver, that confidence, when somebody believes in you, you begin to believe in yourself. And Dale has bought into the Steve Letarte restaurant system, the confidence system. Dale said, Greg Ives doesn't need to be Steve Letarte because I'm there. So now I need Greg Ives to be Greg Ives, so that way I can continue to improve as a driver and he can continue to improve as a crew chief. I don't need a second Steve Letarte. Steve and I have done what needs to be done. And so I think in that sense, I think they're going to be successful together. I think Greg Ives will be a great crew chief for him because he's already winning down in Nationwide with Chase Elliott. And you look at Chase Elliott and Dale Jr., they're both the very, very just calm kind of guys. They're calm, cool, collect. They both have the 2-word answers. They're not real talkative guys, but Greg is doing great down in Nationwide.
I'm excited to see Ives on the pit box.
Yeah.
If anything, going into the chase, and if he's there for a good part of the chase, Chad Kanowski's with Jimmy Johnson. Earnhardt, well, he's got Ives and Letarte. It's like he's got 2 pit crew chiefs right there.
Yeah.
And what better way, instead of the crew chief, the current crew chief, just leaving and another one stepping in, what better way to transition that than to have the new crew chief come in and sit in with the driver in the current crew chief for a while and then take over next year full time? I love that idea.
Well, and it's great that Ives is, for the most part, for the rest of the season, already their race weekend with the Nationwide series. So it just works out great that Greg sticks around for another 24 hours and it follows what they're doing on the Cup side and kind of gets that, because getting that experience as soon as you possibly can is priceless. The driver crew chief relationship, I mean, that's one of the more important roles.
That's half the battle there.
It's one of the more important roles in this sport. Rough days for Kyle Busch, who had an engine go down on him with, what was he? He finished 23 laps and lost an engine. And then Jimmy Johnson involved in had a rough day. Tapped the wall, blew a tire, came in, got it fixed, got his lap back, started to actually contend, was up there, and then hit the wall again, and his day was done. And I want to point out, I thought it was really interesting. This time last year is the exact point. Remember, we were talking about how dominant that 48 team was going into Pocono, and then leaving Pocono in 2013, he went from a 83-point advantage to, I think he ended up having a 7-point lead over Matt Kenseth when they finished at Richmond. He lost all those points with those races. We're talking 40th place, 38th place, 36th place, couple of good finishes, but for the most part, he had a rough last several races of the season, last 5-6 races of the regular season. We could be seeing that same thing again. And like we always say every year, don't take any stock in it.
No.
This team is so good at turning it on when they need to turn it on.
Well, look, he's already in the chase. He's already going to be winning or contended for a championship. So how much pressure is really on him right now?
There is
not a lot.
By the way, there is absolutely, positively no way Jimmy Johnson can't make the chase. He's locked in. He's been locked in for 5 or 6 weeks. Not just because of the win and you're in it system, because he has 3 wins on the season and he is so high in the points that he is mathematically in. He's done. He's in.
So at this point, and we were talking about it last year, 2013, with this, 5-6 race slump. Let's call it a slump.
Yeah.
We were talking about, was he testing some stuff? He's already in the championship. Yeah. So what you see in the next 4 or 5 weeks is probably not what you're going to see in those last chase races.
No. And it's really interesting because NASCAR actually saw what some of these teams were anticipating doing. A lot of them booked their final test session. Guess where they booked it at? Come on now, you can think of it. Where would be the smartest place if you were locked into the chase for you to test at? The last race, remember they can go to
Homestead?
4 NASCAR. Homestead Miami Speedway. Exactly. All chase contending teams were wanting to go down there. So NASCAR actually ended up saying, hold on now, you guys can't test down there until the chase is fully locked, because they want a couple of those guys that are on the bubble to be able to go down there and do it also. So all these teams are going to go down to Homestead 2 or 3 weeks before the season's over with and do this massive test session, and that's going to make that race even better, because now they're going to have a notebook just 2 or 3 weeks old to go down there and race again.
What's ironic is by the time we get to the chase, or by the time we get to that Homestead race, there's only going to be 2 people that can vie for the championship. The way that, I thought there would be 2.
I need to look those over one more time. Let me. Okay, here we go. NASCAR.com. Challenge around the first round. 16 drivers, 4 will advance. The next round, the contender round, 12 drivers left. Win it and you advance, or the top 4 and next 4 will advance. Then the eliminator round, you'll go down. You'll have 8 drivers for the next 3 races: Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix. Win it and you move on, or highest in points moves on. So when we go to Homestead for the final race, 1 race, 4 drivers.
Okay.
The amount of wins you have, the points you have, doesn't matter. Because you win and you advance. That's the most important thing. That's
so it puts that win.
And not only winning early in the season to get into the chase, but also it makes it very critical to win during those rounds, because you can win in one of those races and wreck the other 2. Doesn't matter. You're in. So that's going to be really interesting. All right, other drivers that had bad days: Eric Almirola, who's got a win on the season, finished 35th. Carl Edwards finished 29th. Did his car get airborne? You remember that replay when he was dodging the big wreck?
Yep.
And he went down and hit one of those drainage. I
was wondering that too.
Holy cow, did he go for a ride. Brad Keselowski, who was involved in that wreck, also finished 23rd. So that's how your chase contenders finished. Let's see. Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman still without wins on the season, sitting 4th and 5th in the points. They are locked in. Clint Boyer sitting 9th, still in the chase.
Hold on. Did you say Matt Kenseth still without a win?
Yeah.
What's the chances in the last 3 or 4 years that you'd ever be saying that going in, after Pocono?
After last year, I think it'd be short. It was so. I mean, he won 7 races last year. Then Clint Boyer and Kyle Larson are the next drivers to get in. We've got 11 winners.
Did somebody tell you at the beginning of the year, this year, 2014, Larson would be in the chase?
Yeah, but you said it would be because of a win. And I remember, because I've gone back and listened to the audio to make sure, because I'm a fickle about being right. I said, is Kyle Larson going to win this year? And you said yes. And I said, so
I still think he'll win.
So you think he'll make the chase? And you said, well, yeah, because of the win it and you're in it system. I said, okay, but he's going to get a win. So
didn't we make a wager on that too? A beer?
No, there's no reason to make a wager, because you've never paid up on any of them that I've won. You still have to make laps around Joe's Karting in a 2-2. You still owe me pepper jacks like 6 times. No, we didn't wager anything on it. Honestly, to be honest with you, at this point in time, I would not be surprised if the kid won. I mean, my biggest thing with Kyle Larson was, I was worried that he was getting put into Cup too soon and the spotlight was going to be too bright and it was going to mess with his head. Obviously wrong on that point. I'm happy to admit that because that kid's doing well. My other issue was that organization had been struggling mightily with equipment failures and setup issues and everything under the sun except for talent. I mean, Juan Pablo Montoya and Jamie McMurray are 2 very good drivers. I think I was proved pretty wrong when Juan Pablo Montoya made his return to Cup and was just completely in the way at Indy. But, what have you. So, all right, that's the way the standings line up. We're going to take a little break. We'll come back in turn number 2 to talk to Breanna Pfanstiel, local kart driver here in the Midwest. I believe she races over at Eagle Raceway. We'll find out for sure coming up in turn number 2 on the front stretch.
The best bike night on the planet continues with the hottest Wednesday nights around at Quaker Steak and Lube. Smoking hot deals like $6.99 lube burgers or $3 Busch Lights, $4 aluminum pint bottles, smoking bands on the lube stage, and smoking giveaways like concert tickets to Firehouse at Ralston Arena or Stir Cove. Bike night at Quaker Steak and Lube, brought to you by Holstein's Harley Davidson, each and every Wednesday night, where there's never a cover charge and always a great time. Quaker Steak and Lube, next to the Mid America Center in Council Bluffs. 40 years and still smoking.
This is Andrew from Kaziski Auto Parts. Kaziski Auto Parts is an insurance quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next day fashion. Kaziski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Kaziski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731-4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Kaziski Auto Parts, our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
We're working the high line into turn 2 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com.
Hey, y'all, it's Miss Coors Light, and you're listening to The Front Stretch.
Heading into turn number 2 here on the front stretch, brought to you by Kaziski Auto Parts, online at KaziskiAutoparts.com and located at 51st and I Street. Affordable used parts with a full warranty available. It's Team PRP. Get to Kaziski Auto Parts today at 51st and I Street. Get your car fixed with the right parts, at the right price the first time. Joining us on the phone is, I'm having trouble talking today. Joining us on the phone is a former young gun, just a couple of months ago, actually, Breanna Pfanstiel, or Bree. Thank you so much for joining us, Bree.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Breanna, Bree Marie, what should we refer to you as?
You can call me Bree.
Okay, we'll just call you Bree. You're driver of the number 33 cage cart. There's so many different divisions of kart racing, I get confused over which one's which. You drive a flat cart. Refresh everybody's memory that didn't happen to hear the Young Gun segment we did on you a couple of weeks ago. How did you get started in racing? What was the beginning of all of this?
Started off, my brother Chase was racing in junior to mediums and out at Waverly. And I saw it, I was kind of scared at first, but then I was like, maybe this might be something to try. And when I first stepped into the cart and I got out there, I just, oh my gosh, I loved it and I floored it and it was amazing and I couldn't get away from it. I got bit by the bug automatically.
That seems to be the case for a lot of drivers.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the dynamic of who's in the pits with you. Is it a family thing? Dad helps set up things. Mom helps organize dad. Brother, family, friends all around kind of pitching in, helping, keeping you on the track?
Oh, yeah. My dad, he's always there. He's a big supporter. He's always helping. We're always trying to figure things out, and I'm learning what to do and how to race and how I can make myself a better racer. And my brother's there. I mean, he's racing too, but he always helps out with the cart, and he helps me decide the lines I need to take And my mom, she's always there saying, "Good luck, Bree," and she's always cheering me on. She's always got the dogs out there, and I just love it. I love having my family with me every Friday night.
Are you just an Eagle Raceway Friday night short track racer, or do you also go around to other kart tracks in the area?
This year, we're just sticking at Eagle. I've been down to I-80 a few times, but mainly we're just sticking at Mini.
And then any plans for the future of what you're going to do, maybe this season, any big specials you're planning on hitting?
No, not exactly. But we're trying to get into a hobby stock next year and do some practicing. And then hopefully by the year of 2016, that summer, we're going to try and go out for points at Eagle. But we need all the help we can get. So we're really praying, hoping everything goes through.
Any aspirations to move up to a Race Saver 305 and start doing some sprint car racing, or do you want to keep it with some of the A-mods? Maybe keep it in that area?
I'd like to keep it in the area of A-mods, actually. Plus, Mom's not a huge fan of the wing cars.
So if I move up to an A-mod and you eventually get to an A-mod, do you think you can beat me, Breanna?
I don't know. Only time can tell.
I think you can.
Well, there's other drivers I can buy.
Listen, Bree, I've beat him before. So, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've beat him, and I'm not a racer. So I think you're okay. All right. Along with racing, you also are very involved with the Friendship House, the Friendship Home. Talk a little bit about that. Talk to the listeners about what the Friendship Home is and how you benefit and work with them.
The Friendship Home, the one I'm with is in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's a safe house for battered and abused women and their children trying to escape domestic violence. I don't know, one day I was just sitting around on the computer, and I guess an ad on Facebook popped up for it or something, and I wanted to check it out, and I went and I contacted, the website, and I contacted a few people, and they were willing. They're like, "Yeah, sure, we'd love to have you." And so I've gotten stickers every year to put on my cart, and I'd really like to get their name out so that way we can help these women and help them get through this and kind of lower all this violence and everything.
Well, yeah, it's because it's kind of a scary thing. I know I've talked to several women who have gone through that, and their biggest first step is, where do I go? What do I do? And having that support structure to be able to walk away from the abusive situation it's frightening. Almost as frightening as the abuse situation, but it's great that there's a house now that they can go to and kind of reset and get back up on their feet. So,
actually,
talk about the fundraiser to help bring money into the Friendship Home.
Fundraiser is it's their annual Safe Quarters Drive. It's on October 12th. They hold it every year. It's basically where volunteers get into teams and they walk the neighborhoods looking for financial support. And it's the biggest fundraiser they do. It accounts for 20% of the money they need to make in an entire year. Last year, they raised a little over $110,000, and all that money goes to the victims escaping domestic violence. And
you can find out more information on that, friendshiphome.org. There's a branch in Lincoln that takes care of beaten and battered women. Bree Pfanstiel. Bree, thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck the rest of the season, and we'll see you soon out at Eagle Raceway.
Thank you.
Bree Pfanstiel, driver of the 33 flat cart at Little
She's an awesome kid.
Yeah.
She's a typical kind of, in my opinion, a girly girl, but she's really respectful. She's really good on the track. She minds her business, and it's great that, what she's doing with the Friendship Home there in Lincoln, and it serves a very important need that needs to be addressed. That
is a big issue for such a young girl to take on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean that's very very notable of her to do that. So, all right, I want to make one last mention. Congratulations to Bob Kaziski. Last night, he was inducted into the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame. Yet another Hall of Fame induction for probably one of the most legendary drivers, I think, in our area. I
wouldn't say area. I would say nationwide.
You think so?
This guy, he ran the Daytona 500. He ran Talladega.
Right.
He's been at the top.
Yeah, when it comes to dirt late models, that man has won it all and won everywhere. He's the reason why he has been a legend of the dirt series for 3 years in a row now.
And he's also the reason why we have guys like Joe and Steve Kaczynski here to own and operate I-80 Speedway. He's the reason why Andrew, if it wasn't for Bob, Big Papa Joe wouldn't be here.
Right.
And if Joe wasn't here, that little pipsqueak Andrew Kaczynski wouldn't be here.
And just think how many kids sat at Sunset Speedway, at Blue Heron, at Playland Speedway,
Whitehead Speedway,
at all of these tracks, and watched that 53 just whoop the field and sit there and think, I want to do that.
I will guarantee you.
And because of him, we have, essentially the drivers who are retiring today.
Right.
If it wasn't for, Bob was a pioneer of this sport.
Oh, he is still doing stuff in his old age now that is still helping the sport. And when you see him out at the racetrack, this guy, you'll see him out there. I know he's getting up there in the years. He still watches intently. He might be up there in age, but he thinks at times he's still 24. Yeah. And he'll study every driver, and he'll tell the drivers, you're doing good. You might want to change this. You might want to change that. And so when he came to me this year, Joe was kind of beaming. He told me one night earlier this year, he goes, you had a good run tonight. I was like, yeah, we did pretty good. And he goes, well, even my father asked who in the world was driving your car. And I was like, really? He goes, when you have a Daytona 500 drivers say, who was running your car? That car looked good. You know you've made a mark. Well,
and I get a kick out of every once in a while. Andrew will be telling stories, and he's like, yeah, Grandpa came over to the shop the other day and made me change everything, and it kind of worked.
Just because they're old not driving doesn't mean they don't know what's going on.
The big announcement that even Bob Kaczynski will get excited about just coming up around the corner in turn number 4. We'll be back here on the front stretch.
Only one word describes NASCAR at Kansas Speedway. Fantastic. Parking's free. Coolers are welcome. Fantastic, you say? Then don't miss the chase for the Sprint Cup Hollywood Casino 400 October 5th. Tickets include more seats for $99 or less and kids tickets for just $29. How fantastic is that? Call 866-460-RACE or visit kansasspeedway.com today.
For 50 years, Eagle Raceway has been pushing the limits of dirt track racing. Saturday nights, come see the Midwest Best Battle at the fastest third-mile track. Gates open at 5:30 for IMCA Modifieds, Sport Compacts, Hobby Stocks, Sport Mods, and Race Saver Sprint Cars. Eagle kicks their season off on April 19th with the Icebreaker Challenge, featuring the debut of the Race Saver Sprint Cars. Located just 10 minutes east of Lincoln on Highway 34 and online at eagleraceway.com.
The best bike night on the planet continues with the hottest Wednesday nights around at Quaker Steak & Lube. Smoking hot deals like $6.99 lube burgers or $3 Busch Lights, $4 aluminum pint bottles, smoking bands on the lube stage, and smoking giveaways like concert tickets to Firehouse at Ralston Arena or Stir Cove. Bike night at Quaker Steak & Lube, brought to you by Holstein's Harley-Davidson each and every Wednesday night, where there's never a cover charge and always a great time. Quaker Steak & Lube, next to the Mid America Center in Council Bluffs. 40 years and still smoking.
All race car drivers know how frustrating it can be to lose a race because of a cheap part. They save pennies by going with the cheap part, and now they're on the hauler watching someone else celebrate in victory lane. Cutting corners in racing is just as costly as cutting corners on your car. Make sure you have quality parts on your car by heading to O'Reilly Auto Parts. With 13 locations in Omaha and Council Bluffs, it's easy to find an O'Reilly Auto Parts near you. Find your parts fast and easily online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
Time to grab another tear-off and make your move. We're headed into Turn 3 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting.
This is Ben Fetzer, tire carrier for the 12 Penske Ford. You're listening to the front stretch.
Heading into turn number 3 here on the front stretch, brought to you by Kansas Speedway. How about that? The big-time NASCAR boys buying advertising on our show, supporting those that support racing.
We've moved up a rung in the world.
I'm telling you what. I tell you, we got them fooled, basically. Get your tickets for the NASCAR Chase for the Sprint Cup Hollywood Casino 400 on October 5th. Tickets are on sale now. Visit KansasSpeedway.com. We'll be organizing a meeting with Pat Warren to get him on the show here in a couple of weeks. One cool thing that we talked about last year down in October that you could have definitely used was the app. You remember the app that they came out with about this time last year? You can mark where your car is parked in the parking lot because it's kind of a big parking lot.
Yeah, I can
unfortunately,
use
it wouldn't help you because you keep losing your cell phone.
that. Just to find out it's in the back seat of the truck.
Oh, it's a great weekend down at Kansas Speedway, October 4th and 5th for the Nationwide Series and the Cup Series. Chase is going to be in full motion. That's going to be one of the big weekends, so make sure you get your tickets for the Chase for the Sprint Cup, Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway. Tickets on sale, KansasSpeedway.com. Well, we're joined by Stan Cisar and Wayne Q, who have helped us out. And I got to say thank you to those guys. Big contributors last year to helping out with making sure the walk down Sunset Lane was a success, and I think it was a success.
Well, yeah, and you know the buzz was last year, when are we going to do another one?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've been talking about that just a little bit, and we are, in fact, going to do another one, but it's not going to come quite yet.
Well, that was the big conversation. You know, I think we were having it that night after Quaker Steak and Lube was trying to close up, but there was a bunch of us that were still eating and drinking, was what are we going to do next? And, you know, the big debate, I know, buddy, your suggestion was let's do Eagle Raceway. It's one of the biggest tracks. It's been around, 50 years now?
Yep, 50. Yep. This is the 51st year slinging dirt.
Yep, mm-hmm. And so that was one of the conversations. Do we revisit Sunset Lane and cover some things that we didn't get to cover that night? But I think everyone has pretty much agreed that the next track we need to do, Stan, you want to give the announcement?
Well, you know, before we talk about that, the sad thing about it, we're talking about some of these area tracks that are very successful venues. You know, we did Sunset. You know, we talked about Eagle Raceway, 50 years back in '92, a track that's still going strong. I-80 Speedway opened up, and the sad part about it is I was there for all of them. You know, and I guess
not sad.
That makes me.
A legend?
Old. No, it makes me old.
Seasoned. You're very well seasoned.
A seasoned veteran, I guess you could call that.
Well, we're going to do a track that, quite frankly, since the second we announced it, I haven't been able to bring him down off the ceiling. Wayne Q has just been so excited about this track. We're going to do the tribute show to Playland Speedway.
And Playland Speedway, actually, not the first track in the area, but the staple, I guess, through the late 40s into the 50s.
That's why you can't hold the microphones, Wayne. I told you not to hold the microphone. We had a rule for the longest time. Wayne couldn't come back into the studio because of the equipment he broke the last time. He's here for 4 minutes, and we've got another broken microphone.
He hasn't even said a word yet.
Microphone down.
Where were we?
We're going to send you a bill for that.
Look at how all of our mics are like coming out and down, and then look at Wayne.
No more touching. Oh, we love you. We love you, Wayne. All right, so we got it fixed up now. We're ready to go.
Next time you got to leave. You're going to get a deposit before they let you in. Security deposit. So where were we?
We're going to talk about this Playland Speedway the day of the event. The recording is going to happen Sunday, September 14th. We're going to do it down at Quaker Steak and Lube, so you'll be able to interact with the crowd at Quaker Steak and Lube for the Playland Speedway show. You'll be able to catch up on all the NASCAR action as it's happening September 14th. Now, Wayne, the one thing you've been really pushing for with this is let's not just do like we did at Sunset where we did just the recording. Let's make an event out of this. So you're kind of heading up to being in charge of gathering all of the stuff. You're gathering pictures and videos and knickknacks and all that stuff. So if you have any stuff you want to bring down, we want you to bring it down. We're going to set everything up at about 11 o'clock that morning.
Mm-hmm. All types of memorabilia.
I want anything and everything that can be the old flags. If you got a bleacher from there, if you got whatever from Playland Speedway, maybe you got some scars from Playland Speedway. Let's show them off too.
We have a lot of teaser material too. It's Facebook. It's the Playland Tribute page.
Playland Speedway, Council Bluffs, Iowa Tribute page. That's the name of it.
And it's a very active page. Anybody that's been out of touch with Playland Park for the last few years, if you got about 2 hours to spend, you can just go through there. There's good stories. There's good artifacts, photographs. I'd like to hear some more past stories and that, but as we go along here, before we even hit our broadcast here, we're going to have more and more because we've got more past drivers that have been in contact, like Don Brown.
Keep talking right into the microphone.
Bob Golden. I've been in touch with him. I lost Bob Golden for the last 7 years of Playland from like 1971 until the gates closed in 1977. Was one of the co-owners along with Gerald Leesenby.
So this is all stuff that we're gonna cover that day.
Yeah, and we're
gonna talk to different drivers. But we're gonna set up that morning at about 11. You and I are gonna get down there at about 11 o'clock. Bud, you've got a charity walk that day, but you'll be joining us for the recording at 2 o'clock. Which is when we're going to start recording. So our tentative plan, we kind of want to hang out basically for.
Was Bud out of diapers in '77 or not?
Were you out of diapers? Well, when did you get out of diapers? That was about
6 months ago.
Well, yeah, it was when you got married.
Okay.
You finally came out.
Yeah,
okay. But we're gonna
I got into diapers 6 months ago.
Stan got back in.
The silver diapers.
JK.
So the idea is that we're going to get there and set up about 11. And then about noon, and if you want to show up earlier, you want to show up later, just come and go. We're going to kind of tell stories, just have a little bit of fun and stare at some memorabilia. And then we're going to start recording what's going to end up being about a 2-show special, the Playland Speedway Tribute Show. And we'll do that. We'll start at 2 o'clock. And like we did last time, I think we recorded for about 2.5 hours. We got as much audio as we possibly could.
I haven't touched base with you. Are we going to have video available like we did for Sunset?
We'll work on that. We'll have to figure that out with Creative Element, who's our videoing company. If they're unable that day, we'll track something down. But we'd like to have video.
Just quickly before we go back and touch on some of the history of Playland Speedway, there was also a Playland amusement park in Houston, Texas. And it was also the Slusky family was involved in that, and they did race a Bronco type car, I believe, down there first, and it was a success there.
Is that why they named this Playland Speedway or Playland Park also? Because down there?
Exactly. And when the racing was going to get started again after the interstate expansion, when they ran the bridge there, they lost part of the park, and Jerry Slusky, which was Abe's son, and along with Lyle Klein, they decided they're going to start out with this Bronco division, and it was a pretty affordable race car. Most of the purists in the street machine and street rod guys, classic Chevy guys, they cringe at the thought, but the 55 through 57 Chevy was the car of choice, and there were hundreds and hundreds of them every year turned into Bronco cars, and some of them, ended up at the crusher by the time they got done, and it was an affordable way to get started. Started out with very few cars. The car count grew and grew and grew, continued to grow to where, it wasn't uncommon to have 80 to 100 cars in one class of cars, not in 4 classes or 5 classes, 80 to 100 Bronco class cars. You'd run 8 to 10 heat races. You'd run a D or an E feature all the way up to an A feature. And then, a few years after that, some of the guys, they wanted to start, speeding these cars up a little bit, doing a little more to the engines, a little more to the tires, and trying to hook the cars up a little bit better, obviously to go faster. That's when they called them the Supers, but they were actually they were a Bronco on steroids, a little bit more modified, a little better suspension, the wide tires. Guys were using some of the takeoff IndyCar tires that were 12 to 15 inches wide. And, that way, those cars, it was a 5th mile asphalt track. And the whole key to winning at Playland was getting your car to work up in the second lane.
It was 5th mile.
It was a 5th mile.
I thought it was a quarter mile or bigger.
It was a 5th mile. 5th mile around
on the outside,
around the pole. It was about a quarter mile if you ran up at the top of the second groove.
And then they put a 1/6 mile inside of that.
Jeez, wow. I can see that picture you got on the tribute page.
But the bottom line is it was something that was affordable, and it was kind of the rebirth of racing. It was new model style cars as opposed to the coupes, which had been the staple up to that point. racing at Sunset Speedway and over at Playland Speedway. So it was kind of a new deal and kind of a new beginning, and it took off from there.
Sunday, September 14th is the day we're going to do the recording. Now, we'll record it that day, but it's not going to actually end up playing until probably January of 2015 as a part of the Legends of the Dirt series. The idea behind that was that we didn't want to do it in January again because it interferes with people's vacations, sometimes Christmas holiday specials, and frankly, it could come up to a snowstorm that could ruin our entire day. So we decided to do it in September, and Chris down at Quaker Steak and Lube has been gracious enough. He's going to go ahead and rent tables and chairs so that we can set up in the parking lot right next to the stage. And the front stretch, along with Buddy and Wayne and Stan and all these different dirt legends will be coming up on that stage and talking. We'll have the speakers going. We'll be able to hear so you can see it. It'll be a great, fantastic, fun time. Go to the Front Stretch Facebook page or Playland Speedway Council Bluffs, Iowa tribute page for all the details and information. We'll be keeping everybody up to date as that rolls through. Stan, Wayne?
Walk down the Playland Speedway memory lane.
There you go.
I've got some just to kind of touch on, follow up what Stan was discussing.
We got just, go ahead.
When I really got involved in racing, like in the early 70s and that, the Bronco class was started, like you said, with Jerry Slusky and that group there, but they had this overflow, and this is just what Stan was saying. They had so many cars showing up that they could not let them in. Mm-hmm. And they had drivers just big, and so what between Jerry Slusky and even after Leesenby and that took over, we started this other new class. It was just a bare minimum. They called it a Roadrunner class. Mm-hmm. You take the glass out of your car, go down to Griffin Pipe, get some sewer pipe, and weld it in, and go racing. Strictly stock.
All right. All those stories and so much more are going to happen September 14th. That's a Sunday. We're going to kick everything off about noon. We'll start recording at 2. And frankly, we'll go as long as the stories are flowing.
We could be there all night.
There's plenty of stories out there.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in turn number 4 to talk to Jim Howe to preview Watkins Glen and so much more. This is The Front Stretch.
So you raced your car this weekend and it ended up on the wrecker. Alter Metal Recycling in Council Bluffs wants to remind you it's not a total loss. Bring it by their modern scrap metal recycling facility and get top dollar for your car. Alter has a full concrete unloading zone, so you don't have to deal with muddy loading zones, and pays on the spot for your car. Alter Metal Recycling is open 6 days a week, with locations in Omaha, Lincoln, Grand Island, and more. Find your location online at altertrading.com.
This week's Young Gun on the Front Stretch hails from Billings, Montana. Connor Lorenz raced a quarter midget for a total of 7 years, claiming 9 track championships. Connor, just 16 years old, has already 100 wins to his credit, along with 5 track records. At one time, Connor held the track record at the QMA Western Grands. Connor began racing quarter midgets at the age of 9, where he won his first track championship along with the 2007 Winter Nationals in Primm, Nevada. Once Connor turned 14, he began racing with Soda Street Stocks at his home track, BMP Speedway, with his 2 uncles and dad. Despite being one of the youngest drivers, Connor still took second place in championship points during his rookie season at BMP. Keep your eye out for Connor Lorenz in the next few years, as he could be making his way to a dirt track near you. Connor Lorenz, this week's Young Gun on the Front Stretch.
We have all been there before. Broken car part in your hand and some snot-nosed punk behind the counter has no idea what he is talking about, but he guarantees that this part will fix your car. You pay an arm and a leg for the replacement, get it home, and sure enough, it doesn't fit your car. Now, learn from your mistake and give an experienced salesperson at Kosiski Auto Parts a call today at 402-731-4592. Kosiski Auto Parts will get you back on the road with your arms and legs still attached.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
Get ready for the victory lap as we make our way into Turn 4 on the Front Stretch. Presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Hi, this is Rusty Wallace at Iowa Speedway, and I'm with ESPN, as everybody knows, and you're listening to the Front Stretch.
Heading into turn number 4 here on the front stretch. Just about ready to wrap this baby up. Brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs. Online at thelube.com. Find them on Facebook. Quaker Steak and Lube, Council Bluffs, Iowa. They do a fantastic job keeping you up to date with the weekly specials. Man, I was in there on Tuesday night playing in the whole Playland Speedway thing with Stan and Wayne. It was packed. The reason why? All you can eat wings, $12.99. I mean, we packed those wings away.
Has anybody broke that 125-pound girl's record?
275 wings. No. Actually, no. I think it was more than that. I think it was like 3-something. I'll have to look on their Facebook page.
We had to ask our co-host, our next guest, if he thinks he can make a run at it.
Well, we're talking with Jim Howe, Roadkill of Mid America Motorplex. Jimbo, how you doing, big guy?
I'm good. I'm ready for some wings right now.
Can you top 275?
You know what? I'm trying to lose weight actually, but man, those things sound good. You know what? We're gonna be at Quaker Steak and Lube on the 21st on a Thursday night car show. We're gonna bring a bunch of drag cars, whole bunch of drag cars.
Really?
We're trying to bring 30 or 40 drag cars
up
there and have like a drag-in night. So.
Did I tell you they broke a record for most classic cars in a night with 284?
Man, that's really good. Wow.
Did they run out of...
They ran out of parking lot, yeah. That grassy area to the south? Chris owns that too, and he's talking about paving it so that he has customer parking on Thursday nights and on Wednesday nights for bike nights. So it gets... I mean, that is... Honestly, that's the place to be on Thursday nights if you want to see a classic car.
I'll tell you what, Chris and Ed have done a great job over there, and that's where we park all our trailers and unload our stuff for the drag night, and it's a great place, isn't it? I love Quaker Steak and Lube.
Another great place is Mid America Motorplex down on Pacific Junction, just south on 29. Jim, you're the big man behind the whole ordeal of what's going on over there. So it's been a couple of weeks since we've got to talk to you. In fact, I think was it Daytona was the last time we talked to you?
Couple of weeks. I'm thinking it's been like 6 months.
It's crazy how time flies.
Oh my God!
At the beginning of the season, and I tell you what, it's been a great year. It's what I call the comeback year. It's 2014.
Awesome.
And we are back. It's my 10th year at Mid America Motorplex. It's been open 12 or 13, and we've all done a great job. The staff has done a great job. The customers are back. The racers are back. I'll tell you, spectators are good. It's been a nice year. It's been just what I wanted to. We had a big fire show out there. Did you hear about that?
Man alive, did I see those videos. Holy cow.
I blew up a porta potty just for you.
Awesome.
I thought about you when I slipped that 8-inch shell in the actual compartment of the, where the toilet compartment is. I put an 8-inch shell in there. I said, buddy, this is for you. And these 20 bags of gasoline are for you. And boom! It was good. No, we use our pyro. We're all pyros, and we're licensed, and we blew up a porta pot. I don't think too many people have done it around the country, but it was my big factor for the year-end deal for the night of fire. It was a ton of fun.
So has the porta potty landed yet?
I'll tell you what, there was bits and pieces going everywhere. It was crazy. It was real. I had people come up to me going, that was like a real deal. That was like a real stunt, right? And I go, yes.
Yes.
Jet cars and alters and tons of drag. I'll tell you, our drag racing's been good. We've had a good Summit Point Series this year. We've had a good Mills mini storage. All of them have been really good. The drag racers are good. The road course racing's been great. I've had 2 exotic events out there with exotic, expensive supercars, and it's just been really neat. I'm thinking about doing one more in September, and both you guys got to come out. I personally invite both you guys to come out in September. It'll be towards the end of September. I'll let you know when it is. But
perfect.
Lamborghinis, Ferraris, you name it. That new Nissan thing, that GTR, whatever thingy, that thing's fast. Oh my God, there's some really nice stuff.
Do you ever get to drive these?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm an instructor. Are you kidding me?
So okay. Now wait a second. Will you let the guest or will you let the host of the front stretch drive said Lamborghinis?
Sure, of course we will.
I don't want to. I put my Ranger into enough retaining walls. I don't need to be doing it with a Lambo.
I'll take the Lambo.
Well, we had a guy. It was funny. We had a guy come all the way from Des Moines, Iowa, and he said, "I'm here, and I'm not going until I get to ride with Roadkill." And everybody's laughing. So they called me. I was at the drag strip, and I said, "Well, what's going on?" I go, "This guy wants to go around the track with you in the Lambo, and he's not going to go with anybody until you." I go, "Oh, so he paid to drive the car." And I said, no, let's let you drive it. You're going to have more fun. He goes, I don't want to drive that thing. I want you to. And I go, oh, okay. So I took it around. On my third lap, I brought it in, and the guy that owns the Extreme Driving Experience, he says, Jim, I don't want to say anything, but man, you can't drive those cars like that in front of our customers because they're all going to get out there and think they're going to do that. But anyway, the guy got out and jumped up and down. He goes, now that's what I'm talking about. We had so much fun doing that. But I'll tell you, we've been doing a lot of nice things for the community as well. We got a couple of good promotions going on. We're doing a raffle car right now for post-traumatic stress disorder. We've had several benefits. We raised some money this weekend for a guy.
Has the mentality out at Mid America been a lot different, seeing how it's under new ownership? You guys seem a lot more relaxed, and it's all, it's not that you guys haven't had fun in the past, Jim, but it seems like this year you guys are just really opening up the bag, and you're just having so much more fun with everything that you're doing this year.
We are. Things are a lot better as far as, we're taking our time, and I'm doing things the way I like to do them rather than rush and do them, without as much desperation, or it could be the last year, it could be the final, that way, and that mentality, getting back out and saying, how can we take this thing down in the future? And, it's been a lot better, some of the things we've had, our racers seem like they're having a lot more fun. Everybody's just more fun. That weird tension is not there, and that helps a lot,
We're talking with Jim Howe, the owner and operator, or the main operator and one of the owners for Mid America Motorplex. You can find him on Facebook, Mid America Motorplex, or online at midamericamotorplex.com. You've got an event coming up today, and it involves ice cream, so I'm sold. I'm there.
Yeah. The Ice Cream Cruise, 1320 video. Kyle Loftus, really good guy. I tell you, people need to go check his stuff out. 1320 video. He does a lot of crazy video. Fast, and he goes all over the country, but great guy. He is a big car deal called Ice Cream Cruise for years. He's done it. Him and his friends used to meet and have fun, and we finally got our heads together. I said, hey, have your Ice Cream Cruise, meet, and then come to the racetrack and let's run these cars, A lot of the things I'm dealing with right now are, like, there's that outlaw street car thing that they have on TV and stuff like that. Well, a lot of that stuff is staged, and it's not completely real. So a lot of people don't want to come to a racetrack. They say, we'll just race on the street. And one of my biggest things is, let's get these cars off the street racers, and let's turn them into drag racers. Take a street racer and take it to a drag strip and make them a drag racer. And this is what I do once a year, man. I say, hey, a lot of you street cars that are big and bad and fast and whatnot, put it right here on the street, on the strip. What, we're just an 8th mile, not long enough? Okay, I'll take you on the road course, and I'll drop a street light for you. I use a real street light. I drop them on the road course and let them run over 1,000 feet. I also let them go on the 8th mile of the Pro Tree, just like the big boys, the 410s Pro Tree. And if that's not good enough, we're also doing roll racing this year. Where you're going about 60 miles an hour, you hit the start line, and you both take off from there. So we're doing a lot of fun things. It's an Ice Cream Cruise. That's this Sunday night, and the gates open at 4. It's kind of crazy hours. We're going 4 to 11 this Sunday night. We hope everybody can come out and be involved in that.
And then after that, you're the starring role in the Mud Run coming up August 23rd, right?
Crystal Baker and the family, the Fitch family, who's one of the owners of the racetrack, they put together a fun mud run with Fitness for Life out of Fit for Life out of Glenwood, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mud Run, it's going to be a good time. It's called the Mud Rush Mud Run. Shane Mud Run is going to be good. Now, I don't think I'll actually run in it.
Come on, Jim. Come on.
I'm going to be on the safety crew.
So you're going to have the defibrillator handy, right?
Right, in a side-by-side that burns gasoline.
That's going on.
We're going to run that around the lakes. And you know what's funny is that's August 23rd. That is the same time as the Geezer Show and Go. This will be my 7th annual Geezer reunion, Hot Rod Geezer reunion, and that is a ton of fun too. Saturday and Sunday, the 23rd and the 24th, is the Hot Rod Geezer reunion. All the old school cars, all the old race figures from all over Omaha, all the motorheads, bring all their toys out. And we get, we get almost 300 show cars at that event, along with, every drag race you can think of. And I also booked in, listen to this, I booked in a full-body top fuel Charger this year, a 69 full-body Charger top fuel, along with an altered top fuel, 6 blown alcohol cars, altered blown alcohol cars, and just a ton of other crazy drag stuff, the Geezer Gassers, Nostalgia Pro Stock, Super Stockers. It's going to be a great time.
All right, MidAmericaMotorplex.com for all the information. You can find them on Facebook and join all of their calendar of events. Jim, we appreciate your time, buddy. You have a good one.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. You guys do a great show and a great service to the community. Have a good time, buddy. We'll see you at the Ice Cream Cruise. Thanks a lot, Dan.
All right, we'll see you. All right, Jim Howe of Mid America Motorplex.
You never know what that guy's up to out there. I tell you what, though, I race Osceola, Clark County Speedway every other Saturday night. Every time we go out there, it's usually 2:30, 3 o'clock. There's always something going on, either the drag strip or the road course. That place is never dead.
All right, coming up today, it's Watkins Glen. We're talking about road course racing, and I joked earlier in the week that crews were shining up the old chrome horn because this is the best opportunity for drivers like Matt Kenseth and Ryan Newman and Kyle Larson, who is very good on road courses. He did very well for himself. These guys that don't have a win yet, these guys that are just starving for a win, it's frankly their best opportunity because they're going to get the closest to these guys' bumpers about 4 or 5 different times each and every lap. Greg Biffle, Casey Kane, Austin Dillon, Paul Menard, Marcus Ambrose, Brian Vickers, Tony Stewart, Jamie Mack, all these guys need a win to get in. And I think today we're going to finally start to see that win, and you're in.
This is the last road course before the chase, right?
It's the last, yep.
With that being said, if some of these drivers that need a win to get into the chase, if they don't win here, who do you see going, okay, then you're done? Is this track really suited for any one of these drivers in particularly?
Well, Marcus Ambrose is the one I'm kind of putting my money on right now. Now, he didn't win it last year. It was actually Kyle Busch that won last year with Brad Keselowski coming home second, Martin Truex Jr. in third, Carl Edwards in fourth, and Juan Pablo Montoya rounding out the top 5. But Marcus Ambrose went and raced the Nationwide Series race there yesterday and got a little more seat time in, and that's all. These teams are starting to put all their chips on one race. We know Richard Petty Motorsports knows their best opportunity to get Marcos in the chase is at one of the road course races.
Right.
Green Flag noon today on ESPN and radio coverage on MRN. All the Green Flag action on the big screens at Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs. Make sure you get your picks in to me by noon by the time the green flag waves so that we can do the Pick'ems contest if you're a part of that. And I apologize, we are going to have to wait a week to make the announcement for the next prize.
It'll be worth it.
It will be worth it. I told you in the break what it was. Now you're excited.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope it comes through. So, all right, we'll toss talking about it. We'll get back to enjoying your weekend. Thank you so much for joining the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
Only one word describes NASCAR at Kansas Speedway. Fantastic. Parking's free. Coolers are welcome. Fantastic, you say? Then don't miss the chase for the Sprint Cup Hollywood Casino 400 October 5th. Tickets include more seats for $99 or less and kids tickets for just $29. How fantastic is that? Call 866-460-RACE or visit KansasSpeedway.com today.
For 50 years, Eagle Raceway has been pushing the limits of dirt track racing. Saturday nights, come see the Midwest Best Battle at the fastest third-mile track. Gates open at 5:30 for IMCA Modifieds, Sport Compacts, Hobby Stocks, Sport Mods, and Race Saver Sprint Cars. Eagle kicks their season off on April 19th with the Icebreaker Challenge, featuring the debut of the Race Saver Sprint Cars. Located just 10 minutes east of Lincoln on Highway 34 and online at eagleraceway.com.
All race car drivers know how frustrating it can be to lose a race because of a cheap part. They save pennies by going with the cheap part, and now they're on the hauler watching someone else celebrate in victory lane. Cutting corners in racing is just as costly as cutting corners on your car. Make sure you have quality parts on your car by heading to O'Reilly Auto Parts. With 13 locations in Omaha and Council Bluffs, it's easy to find an O'Reilly Auto Parts near you. Find your parts fast and easily online at O'ReillyAuto.com.